Recording.
Hello, Internet. Welcome back to another episode of
Yeah.
Chai and Chill. And joining us today
Thank
is an
you.
entertainment journalist, a kid who believed in following his dreams, a person with incredibly funny social media accounts, and a newly acquired friend, if I may say so, Rajat Tripathi.
Thank you so much.
And before we start, this is the cup that I have. This is the funny story is this is the cup I got Anusha, I think, and then yeah.
Oh, so yeah, Anusha is the common friend that who had us meet. Yeah, one fine night. And this is so I went looking for the like a pretty cup, and then I saw this cup in my house, and this was the if this is not the ugliest cup I've ever seen in my life. I swear to God, this is the ugliest cup I've ever seen. So I was like, this is my choice. I'm going to drink tea in this today.
It's a very
Yes,
pretty
sorry,
cup,
you were
though. I don't know why you think it's ugly.
not. It is ugly AF. It has bold. This is not a pic. This is not painted. This is a legit picture. And you know those Photoshop jobs जो you online कराते हो आप अपने अपने couples की picture यहाँ पे चिपका देते हैं. This is one of those pictures. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying. It looks like I'm interviewing you.
I think you are having a very hard time letting go of the fact that somebody is interviewing you and you are not in
Yes.
control.
Yeah.
Is this the first
जी
time
बोले
someone is
अनिता.
interviewing you?
क्या?
Is this the first time someone is interviewing you?
Yeah, apart from the 100 job interviews I have been rejected from, this is the first time someone is interviewing me. Yes, Anisha, boliye please.
Okay, I want to know what made you choose this industry?
Oh God. So, it is sort of, or it is like a half organically it happened to me, half it was a conscious choice. So I was always inclined towards movies and cinema and films and TV shows and all of those artsy things. I really used to reading those articles. 5 times Neha Kakkar was. I don't know why I took Neha Kakkar's things, but yeah, sang beautifully. I used to love those lists. I really wanted to write those lists. And I'm an engineer by degree. I think you know, but your viewers would know. I'm an engineer by degree, electrical engineer, and I failed in my final year exams very badly. I did not have a job. I did not get placed, and I was just sitting at home, waiting for the next set of exams so that I can reappear. And it got really, really terrifying at home because of course निठल्ला बेटा घर पे बैठा हुआ है सब कुछ छोड़ छाड़ के तो it gets really, really tense. So I was like, one day I had this conversation with my parents that I'm gonna go out and look for a job without any degree, without any nothing. So they're like, okay, cool. They were not like कि बेटा रुक जा exam दे दे फिर जाना. नहीं जाओ कोई बात नहीं. I went out and I think I crashed with a friend for about 3 months, and thankfully I was even ready to work at Domino's and McDonald's, by the way, at that point. And I'd actually applied at Domino's, and thankfully at that point this one job came through with Z Media. I got an internship वहाँ पे. Although funny story, मुझे मेरे boss ने interview से निकाल दिया था, genuinely. I'm not kidding. तो लेकिन फिर वहाँ पे एक और थी जिसको मेरी writing बहुत पसंद आई थी. उन्होंने मुझे वापस बुलाया कि come back, we have this internship for you if you want to take this up. You did not get that job, but this internship is possible. So I took that up, and yeah, it was just by chance I saw this job listing. By chance it's sort of luck and consciousness.
I want to ask, is this the time when LinkedIn is a huge thing, it has blown up, or is this the time when people know LinkedIn exists but nobody actually uses LinkedIn to look for a job?
So I have met people who have used LinkedIn to get a job. Like I have met them, but personally LinkedIn has not been very beneficial for me.
Oh.
This job listing I saw on Facebook.
Yeah, the current job that I have, I found it from Social Samosa.
Yeah, so LinkedIn has not been very used. I don't think so anybody has ever gotten back to me from LinkedIn. But I know people who have for whom LinkedIn has been very beneficial. So I think Indians need to start using LinkedIn more often so that it becomes a trusted platform. But I also know a person, one of my very good friends. She has received those unsolicited DMs on LinkedIn also.
Yeah,
Like the Indian will you can make
yeah,
a
they keep it as
social
well.
media platform about gods and religion, and then even there they will do this.
So I don't know why, but they have a tendency of turning anything and become a dating app for them. They will slide into your DMs and
And
message you very weird things.
I'm really fascinated by the psychology of these men. Like I really want to sit across them and ask them, "Kyun? Yeah, what makes you do this?" Like I do not know a single person who's like this. So I don't understand.
It's not our circle, no. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to sound so classist right now, but the thing is, I don't think
No,
any
but
of my friends have ever used LinkedIn as a potential app to meet. Oh no, I'm wrong. I
But-
don't know someone.
What? Yeah. Hey, let's go hang out with this person now, please. Please. Let's make a plan after Corona. Hey, you long time no see. My friends want to meet you. I always talk about you, and I will meet this person.
I will tell you after the call who that is.
Oh shit. Okay. Let's not meet this person. I think I can make a guess.
Okay, so from what I know about you, you told me that without anything, you just moved, crashed with a friend for 3 months to get a job, to look for a job, and this was in Bombay. So you moved from Bhopal to Bombay without a plan. Did you ever
I
think
moved to-
growing up? Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry. What were you?
Yeah. You did you ever think what?
I was like, did you ever think you'd end up here, or where did you move to? Because you were not clear about the city. It was Bombay, right?
No, it was Pune. Actually, I moved to Pune first because I would have moved to Bombay only, but like my friends in Bombay were not very financially stable at that point in time, so they could not have had one more person ka burden on them. But some of my friends in Pune were financially stable and they had a big place and like not. I think financially stable would be the word right now. So I stayed with her actually. So she allowed me to crash at her place for a few months, and her roommate was one of my old schoolmates, and she used to hate me in school. Yeah, and so I'm not kidding. I only got like during this lockdown. This is like what 2015, and during the lockdown now I'm that person who used to hate me, and I have become very good friends. And during the lockdown, I came to know that they had a huge fight. They stopped talking to each other. Rajat is gonna live with us for a few months.
Oh,
But eventually, when she met me, I don't think we ever interacted in school. But when she eventually interacted with me, she ended up liking me a lot, and we are very good friends now. So yeah, so coming back to your question, yeah, I moved to Pune without any plan, literally zero plan, zero. I just hope that my writing would work out, and actually, they were sort of a very. So it is sort of. There's this one friend of mine whom I knew, and this person had told me that they could help me finding a job. And as soon as I landed in Pune, this person backed out that I can't help you at all. Over the silliest argument ever. Like we had a very tiny argument, and this person just backed out. Ki, bro, you're on your own. And funny thing, this person. So we stopped talking for about 2 or 3 years. After 3 years, this person comes back to my life and tells me, "You never thanked me." I was like, "Excuse me?"
for what?
So yeah, because if I had not done that to you back then,
Oh, you wouldn't get where you are now. Wow.
yeah, I was like, "Fuck you." They're just pathetic people in this world. So that was my one plan. Plus, I somewhere hope that writing will work out for me. My writing was fine. So I knew that something I will get.
This was in Pune. So how did you end up here in the city of dreams?
So-
Where apparently all of us move here to fulfill our dreams.
So I landed 2 job interviews in a single day somehow life gave me like छप्पर फाड़ के दिया था कि अरे आज तो तुम्हारे 2 इंटरव्यूज होंगे दोनों एक दिन हुए एंड दोनों मुंबई में थे फ्रॉम पुणे लाइक वो सोशल मीडिया ग्रुप पे जो मीडिया ग्रुप्स होते हैं वहाँ पर मुझे जॉब मिला था एंड देन आई केम डाउन टू मुंबई एंड आई गॉट बोथ द जॉब्स And for some this other job was the other job that I left was very lucrative. You know, it was paying me well. It was a bigger brand, and it was sort of well known thing in Mumbai, but it was not entertainment. It was like one of those content writing jobs. So, and this
You know, I
other
do
thing
that.
was just a
I like how
yeah.
you said it, content writing ka jobs in a condescending way. That's my day job, bro.
Yeah, no, it was just it was just content writing. So that is what it was like. This is my current job is content writing. Plus, also I get to do other stuff.
I understand what you mean. It gets a little frustrating
Yeah.
after a while.
Yeah. So, I'm saying it was more lucrative. It was paying me better. It was with a better brand. And yet I picked up this job, this internship of like $5,000. And like, I'm gonna do this. And yeah, I did that. And thankfully, it worked out in my favor. It was all hunch or God's grace or luck or whatever you want to call it. At this point, I'm asking you to call it my talent.
It's your talent. Do you need
Thank
me to
you.
tell you how talented you are?
You're being too kind. No. It is God's grace.
Okay, true story. There was this one day I was so upset because it took me 2 years to get a ground where I work right now. I've been working here for 2 years, but it took me 2 years to fight and get my way and figure out, okay, this works, this doesn't work. So I remember being really upset half the time the first year of my job. I come back home and Anusha tells me, go on Rajat's Twitter. I'm like, what? Just read his tweets. I guarantee you will feel better.
Thank you for reading my tweets. I think you were the one person reading my tweets. I think I saw the engagement of my Twitter. It only reached one person.
Yeah,
I'm so glad I picked.
And now I'm going to, ask other people that I know that please follow this Twitter account. It's hilarious.
Please do.
I actually have done that to other friends when they were upset. I was like, go follow this Twitter account.
Okay, so those are the 3 people who have seen my tweets. Cool. Nobody follows me.
At this point, I think you should thank Anusha for being such a cheerleader.
Please add my Twitter account यहाँ पे नीचे ऐसे ना यहाँ पे ऐसे. Go follow Rajju Anjing. Guys, don't follow me. It's a waste of time. Anisha is being too kind.
Oh, really?
She's always, yeah.
Okay, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is your crazy work hours.
Oh my God.
I remember the first time you were trying to meet, and then you said that I am going to get off work at 3. And then I said PM, and you said no, AM. I was like, what? What is that?
Yeah, it is pathetic. And I'm done with. So this is the journey in all it including. So I used to love odd working hours. You know, it was. See, I am a night person, so I used to I did not mind it, or even I enjoyed it a little bit. And I used to be when you're in a profession like this, when you're in a creative profession, you have to give your job a little bit of extra hours, and you have to be ready for odd times and all. I used to be like this completely. This person, this is the demand of this job, this particular job, this field, that I would have to be available if it is at 3 a.m. even. And I used to understand that, but eventually, it sort of like the benefits are not as much as the hard work you put in. So I'm pretty sure I've made it in my mind. My next job will be I want 8 to 5 shift. I'm done. I will not do all of these odd hours at like 7 to 1 in the 11 to 7 in the morning. Some stupid shift that there's one stupid shift 7 to 1. One of my friends does it. I will not do all of this, because if there was respect and there were benefits that that matched that matched fucking up your sleep cycle. Can I say fuck?
No. YouTube will take my video down. It's okay, I'll bleep it.
So so if the benefits matched these screwed up working hours, then it was fine, but no, it's not. And what happens is sometimes you have to available, because in entertainment news is breaking constantly. These idiot stars, they have like I just told you that Sara Ali Khan has just posted that uske नौकर को कोरोना पॉजिटिव हुआ है. बहन रात के 12:40 पे पोस्ट करने की क्या जरूरत थी? समझ में नहीं आ रहा मुझे.
I hope you don't get into trouble for saying this, right?
No. No, please. तो अभी किसी को काम करना पड़ रहा है, मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन somebody from my team is taking it up. So this is so stupid, and everybody and the shifts are over. Like, लेकिन फिर भी somebody will log in and do it. I know. This is sad. So stars also, please, if some star is watching this, stop posting things after 9 p.m. Nothing should go up. Like, please post during working hours.
I don't. Well, through them it is. I'm working 24/7, so you should also work 24/7.
God, yeah. If I got 1 crore 80 lakhs for working 24/7, I will work 48. Whatever the 48 cross for what, I don't know. Clearly, I was not meant for math.
So, okay, so you told me that you guys have these crazy shifts. Has it ever happened that you had one shift, say on Sunday, and then Monday, say you're expected to do another shift, or they were kind enough to give you rosters?
Yeah, it is amazing. So I think I've still not learned to say no, and this happens to me even still. Like, I'm learning slowly. I think I'm just as a person. I don't like that whole conversation. Like, see, the thing is, if I expect you to be considerate enough to know that this is humanly very excruciating, the kind of odd shift. So I don't want to point out the obvious to this person, to my superiors. I'm totally getting fired.
No, I don't think my target audience are your bosses.
As I was saying, that it had recently happened that I was on a 3 to 12 shift at 12 in the night. Then I reached home by 1:30. 12 doesn't mean you're going to step out at 12 exact sharp 12 from office. It means 12:30 when it gets stretched to that. Then I reached my home about 1:30 or 2 something. I ate food. By 2:30 I slept. By 7 a.m. I was again out of the office because I had to watch a movie at 8 a.m. which I was supposed to review.
I am surprised you didn't fall asleep at this movie.
Yeah, no, I did not. Wait, there's so many times. But yeah, a lot of times the odd working hours do get to you. Like my sleep cycle is perpetually screwed up. I didn't say the F word.
I can see that because there are some days, especially for us, it's during pitch week when we are constantly thinking and we don't get enough sleep, and because you have to crack an idea. We always tend to take the next day off after the pitch is done, saying that we can't, we need one day to get back to normal and we need to recover. But for you guys, one day you will tell me that, oh, I'm working till 3, the next day it is, oh no, I have a witching arca shift. What are you doing? This can't be good for you.
Yeah, so I think this has happened to me during the lockdown also. So I hope I find, I've started dheere like in my own way. I started saying no or started pointing it out, but there will come a day when I will actually put my foot down that this is not going to happen to me anymore. And as I said, my next job, whatever it is, I will make sure that it's not one of those rotational shift-based jobs.
Yeah, I understand. That will be my plan. I do understand news breaking, but who's up at 2 a.m. writing breaking news?
And it's very stupid.
Okay, so when you started writing, this is, I'm assuming, around 2015ish, 16ish.
16ish.
So the online news portals were booming at that point of time. The blog articles, for lack of a better word, like you said, that the 5 songs that Neha Kakkar did, tearjerkers and all that. Do you think that's still going to be popular? Were they always popular? Because I know they boomed all of a sudden. And do you see their popularity dipping a little now? The blogs and the articles?
No, see, blogs and websites were booming when I joined the game, thankfully. And there's still a lot of websites are popping up every single day. Like the websites, despite being in the industry, I do not know about those websites. They're popping up every single day, and it is not dipping right now, but it is going to dip for sure. But Indian audience has the tendency to consume literally any kind of trash that you're served. So you never know, it could go either way. But I hope it dips a lot so that people focus on quality more often, and there should be more accountability to what you write on the internet. Right now that is not there, and it is because everyone's consuming it. So I do not know if there will be a dip, but I hope there is a dip so that people focus on accountability, fact checking, and quality more than they not.
true. So the other thing is you have to write very catchy titles, right? Very catchy
Yeah,
titles. Otherwise, people will not click on your blog. Sorry, I am used to saying blog because since I blog a lot, you will not click
yeah,
on your
bro, yeah.
news article. So there's a study that was done. I found it. I actually went back and I was looking at attention spans. In 2008, they said that your title needs to be as catchy for a 15-minute title, 15-minute attention span. Then recently it decreased to 5 seconds. And absolutely recently, few days ago, I found a study which said that it's 3 seconds. 3 seconds?
How do you get someone's attention in 3 seconds? That is.
One word needs to
I
jump
don't.
out at you. For example, right now it's COVID. Put COVID on a title,
Okay. Oh
everybody.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. So right now, also one of the words that is booming is virtual.
Yeah.
So like, like we were like before we started recording, we were talking about virtual farming. We were talking about that. So, yeah, people are actually talking about if there's virtual on in the headline, people are going to click on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm not exact. This is SEO. I'm not a very big fan of SEO, search engine optimization. I like if I lose a chunk of audience because of my catchy those humorous headlines, I do not mind it. I'm literally the worst content writer ever. Look at me, like I'm fine with losing audience. I don't mind.
So, okay, and if you are allowed to reveal this, how many stories are you supposed to write per shift? And
I'm not supposed to reveal this at all, but I will reveal this because see, I believe the more that there should be transparency, and until we are transparent about these things now, there wouldn't be a change. I really want to bring a change to this particular thing. So when I started off, it was 6 stories per day, which was fine, which was a doable number. Then it increased to 8 stories per day because the upper management wanted to do 8 stories. Eventually, I got around doing 8 stories. It was totally fine. Then it was increased to 10 stories, and then it was increased to 12 stories. When it increased to 12 stories per day, I think me and my entire team put our foot down ki we are not going to do it. This
how
is
many
impossible.
words are this on an average? 500, 300?
300 words, 300 to 400
So that's
words.
still too much.
Too much. This is too much. So, and we all put our foot down that we got it back down to 10. Now the thing is, I know a lot of people who are still continuing to function on 12 stories per day. I currently, I'm thankfully I'm working at a nice place right now. They are not hanging a sword over my head ki you have to push 8 stories per day. If someday I even do 3 stories, it's totally fine. Like, as long as I'm presenting respectable stories that bring in numbers and which are good stories, it's totally fine. But there are places in this industry who are dangling a little sword over your head that you have to push 12 stories in a day. And when you write 12 stories a day, I think your last 4 stories will be literal trash. Like literally nursery kids could write better than those stories.
Yeah, agreed.
And this needs to change. It is inhuman to make writers write so much.
And if you tell them that, they'll say that I am paid to be, you are paid to write stories, so just shut up and write.
You're not being paid. Somebody has told me this person I really, really, really admired has come up to once I said no to doing some story, and this person has told me, and it's so sad to be coming from a person you actually admire and told me you're a content writer, right?
Yeah, I take that very personally now.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, what the F? And the thing is, so what happens, like, see, in content writing, I think you're also in a creative field, actually, sort of create. I know about your job a little bit, but they're content writers, like if you have to write product descriptions, they are content writers that also. Then you have no choice of saying, I don't want to write Philips product description because I don't stand by them. I will only write Videocon product description. You cannot do that because then you say, okay, you're a content writer, right? But in our jobs, we also have we bring humor we bring our own opinion to the story, to
Yep.
what we're writing. There's things that you do not want to give your voice to, give your ink to.
Yep.
So we can say no. We should be allowed to say no to those stories. But no, you're a content writer, right? Even if it's Sharlin Chopra hot images, seriously, this field has been reduced to this stupidity.
So, what is the highest number of stories you did on a shift?
Okay, I have done 15 stories and out of my choice, because that day it was required for, like, somebody had some breaking news that happened. So if it's the need of the hour, I do not mind going the extra mile or even 200 extra miles. That is totally fine. I do not mind putting in the extra effort. But if you if you expect any content writer to put in 12 stories per day, it is unfair. I think all the people, I trust me, I do not know a single person, single content writer, single entertainment journalist who would say ki, no, I'm done with it. I will, even if somebody's dead, I will not do 12, 15 stories a day. Everybody I know has put in their best effort when the need of the hour has been. But yeah, there should not be there should be a dignified number of stories that you should ask your writers to submit. Great.
Yeah, I understand that when something has happened and you have to cover it. But what about the days when you're not inspired at all and you still, the worst part about our jobs is no matter how you're feeling, you have to show up and you have to still write, even if you don't want to.
There are so many days when you don't feel. So to me, ऐसा क्या होता है? If you make me write, if today I'm not feeling inspired, and you make me write now, I will not feel inspired tomorrow also, because I've already used that energy in somehow surviving today, and then this cycle continues for a very long time. So I think a writer should be allowed in these fields like us, at least, that if you're not feeling inspired, it's fine. No need to produce this quantity. And yeah, you can make up for it for the next day. But
keeps a track of how many stories have you done. They go and they ask Rajat, how many stories did you track today? How many stories did this?
As I told you, this has not happened to me in this current office. Thank God, please, nahi ho. But previous office, it was, oh God, it was like so anal, so God. Can I say anal at least? Anal won't get beeped na.
You know what? I'm going to put this as a not fit for kids, because anyway, I don't expect kids to come and watch this. Like, imagine a little kid going, I want to be an entertainment journalist, looking for this and going.
Oh shit, But yeah, previous office used to keep a track, and if you didn't, I still when I left the previous office, I actually forwarded myself a stinker that I was sent because not submitting a certain number of stories, because that was one of the filthiest things someone has ever told me, and I will take it as a reminder that I never have to be this person in my life ever. And
I like how you took a positive spin on it.
Yeah. No, so what happened now? I was also sort of a crackhead type ka. So this person has written, my boss had written that don't let this very long stinker and choicest of abusers without falling into trouble, because if there was actually abusers, I would complain to the HR, but very nicely insulted me at my work ethic and everything, my professionalism and everything. And in the end, my ex-boss had written that don't let this early success get your head. Okay. And I went to the office. Did you read a stinker? And the entire team was marked, by the way, on the stinker. So I went and then team falls silent. Oh my God, I just put the stinker bheja. So everybody's silent. And I went like, did you guys read that? And everybody, yeah. He called me successful. And everybody's like, okay, kuch nahi ho sakta yahan pe. No, so that again, this person who sent me this stinker also always constantly used to tell me that I'm extremely talented. Constantly.
You are.
Yeah, but so just for the people watching this, the previous boss was not all bitchy. Sometimes they were a lot of times they were good moments also.
No, they have their moments. It is. I don't know whether we'll get into trouble for saying this on record, but I have noticed one thing, that they want you to be successful, but not more than that. The minute you start, the minute you start outshining them is when they go, no, I'm going to be a bitch to you now.
Yeah, could be possible. I've heard this one from a lot of people. A lot of people have told me this theory. It's totally possible.
Okay, so now coming back to your profession, I know that you made a very conscious decision of being in the entertainment industry. What happened the first time you realized that you actually have to go face a celebrity and interview them?
Okay, the first time was awesome. First time was like beginner's luck jo hota hai na, some first time you play poker, so you win and you feel like, wow, so cool and everything. First time was of course my heart was coming out of my throat, but it went nice. My first interview was Tushar Kapoor and Aftab Shivdasani or whatever. Tushar was very cool. Aftab was on a scale of 1 to 10, he was like a 6, but Tushar Kapoor was really, really sweet, really awesome, one of one of the best interviewees, because I told him कि sir मेरा पहला interview है, so he was extra nice to me. It was very cool. Then the interview got very fetched nice views, and I became a star amongst my friends and my family members and everything. Then came, those moments where your beginner's luck stops favoring you.
Yep.
And then you have to survive. And you have to survive with your talent, and you have to brave against all the odds. And I started tanking interviews after interviews. Every interview I will do one screw up or the other, and which just added to my pressure. And my boss was very pressurizing over these things. Like, he will call out the tiniest mistake. And then now the thing is, celebrities could be a little intimidating. A lot of time. And plus, I have a very tiny frame as a person. This is true. People will say what bullshit. So people tend to, already assume in your head that you can talk to me the way, whatever way you want. So they sort of this this happens. So I'll be talking to some two very popular music composers. Vishal Dadlani and Shekhar Avejani, who gets two Fs even if they see this. And they were so incredibly mean to me. There was no end. That was the first interview. I have literally cried that I cannot do this anymore.
I used to like Shekhar. Now you're making me rethink.
No, Shekhar was actually fine. Vishal Dadlani was really.
He is mean. Isn't he one of the judges for roadies?
No, he's not. He's one of the judges on some reality show, but not roadies.
Yeah, but he's very mean. All I can think about when I see him is damn mean.
Yeah, Shekhar was actually stopping Vishal ki kya kar raha hai, don't stop being so mean and everything. But Vishal was totally taking my case, and you can sense this person is new, doesn't know the job well, so you try to be nice to that person. तुम्हारे पास इतना experience है पिछले 10 years का, you impart that knowledge onto me कि ऐसे don't do interview like this, or you cannot ask this question, whatever. But they made fun of me, and I have gotten into Radhika Apte was quite a B to me.
Yeah. You know what is going to happen if I take this clip and send it? We'll go viral.
Okay, don't do it.
I won't do it, come on.
Yeah. So Radhika Apte was also very mean. So I did not like her. Yeah. So these things now break your confidence little by little, and eventually it came down to a point that I think I was going to go interview Janhvi Kapoor and Ishan Khattar, and I just broke down I called one of my friends and broke down the cab. I can't do this. I just cannot do this anymore. And that was my first interview. I really liked being on the camera, and that was the first interview where I volunteered. I don't want to be on the camera. I'll just observe from behind the camera, or what. I'll just ask the question, you answer. But I think eventually I found the confidence, and now I'm so incredibly good at it. I'm so I go in the field, I walk like I own it. It is so amazing. I don't know how it happened. I think I just needed a small break. I took a break. I actually I told my boss that I cannot do this for some while. I'll tell you when I feel mentally better to do this again, and I will do it. And somehow I found this. I did not do anything. I wish I could tell people what to do, but I literally did not do anything. All I did was took a break, and now I'm incredibly good at it. I'm really good. I still make mistakes, but I don't think I think I asked Vinay Pathak a very stupid question recently, but I don't mull over those mistakes now. Okay, oh shit, kya pooch liya?
It's okay, be in the moment.
Yeah. Sometimes in the moment you end up asking a very dumb question, and I'm dude, ye nahi puchta tha. You bite your tongue right away. But earlier it used to be I used to sit there for months thinking about that one wrong question I had accidentally asked, not by choice, not by whatever. But yeah, now I'm very good. It takes time to get good. Some people are very natural. Some people are natural who are really, really good at this. Some people just learn with their job. I was one of those people who learned on the job.
I think your nature is more of I might be wrong, but I think your nature is more of an ambivert, so it took you some time to be okay with the fact that you're going to be on camera.
Yes, exactly. I'm an ambivert. So
one of the reasons that this started was the global pandemic. And I have seen you go live so many times on your Instagram where we've just seen complete horrible people to you. Your first live, I remember we were just trolling you on purpose.
Yeah, because my friends are horrible. For some reason, I have not. So the thing is, if any young person is watching this show and your friends are trolling you right now, they've just begun to troll you. Stop them right away, because then that becomes your identity, that you are that person that everybody like trolls. My friends, I think, only become I only continue to be my friend because they can troll me whenever they want.
You can troll me back. I'm okay with it.
No, but it's okay. I don't know. I feel very very bad trolling people back.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel incredibly bad. I will think, oh, उसको बुरा तो नहीं लग गया. Sometimes I will say something mean to a person, and then I will 3 days later I will go, hey, sorry, I said something to you 3 days ago, and they'll be like, what did you say? I don't even remember that.
So,
So I'm.
see,
And then the global pandemic, I do prefer. So what happens now? I remember the question. So if your roll call is like, if you have to interview someone at 3, you have to reach at 2:45, set up the camera, and then sit. And the interview has never started at 3. It will start at 5, 5:30, 4. And if it's the bigger the celebrity, the later the interview will begin. So it's a colossal waste of your time and energy. Okay. There was one time I was interviewing an international celebrity, and they are so nice. And uska PR ne had sent me a message 1 hour early that we are sorry to say we are running 10 minutes late.
oh, wow, 1 hour. That's so.
1 hour ago, they sent me we are running 10 minutes late, and for 10 minutes they sent me a proper email at 10 minutes, and the interview did not even run 10 minutes late. It started on time. It wasn't even 10 minutes late. They covered up somehow. यहाँ पे you sit there for 4, 5 hours. Nobody gives 2 Fs about it. It's a colossal waste of your time, energy, resources. So this is way better. Plus यहाँ पे क्या होता है ना, if when you're in your home, in your comfort, celebrities are some more comfortable talking to you. They talk to you more openly. Somehow this idea of being in a known surrounding is more comfort. Somehow it is more comforting, obviously. So it gives you an illusion that you're talking to a person that you can talk to anything about, which is very detrimental to them but very good to me. Yeah.
I'm so happy about it. Like, I have a feeling that this is going to stay, even after we go out of lockdown, even when the pandemic ends, people will say, let's just do live with this person.
It should totally stay. It should 100% stay. This is the way forward, I totally think. It is a waste of time. Why do we have to go and wait there? The celeb also has to give 12 hours in one day, and then they have to meet 20 people. Yahan pe you can just sort out the people you want to talk to and only give them the Zoom link.
That works. Plus the Instagram, for the Instagram Live and the FB Live, you can connect with literally anybody in the world and do it at the same, in real time.
Yeah, I prefer this. I prefer this virtual world than I have literally zero interest in meeting celebrities. If I've ever looked interested in meeting a celebrity, it is because so that I get to post a picture on my Instagram, and my school friends will be jealous of that picture. That's all that interests me when I meet celebs.
I like how the scheme is. Like, I don't care about the Bombay friends because they are in the same field, but my school friends.
No, I don't even care about the school friend. I just want to make them jealous. That's it. Yeah, that's the only. So it's okay if I don't get these pictures with celebrities anymore. I don't care. It's okay.
Yeah. So we speak to each other a lot on Instagram. It's mostly because you're very, very active on Instagram, and you mostly put up stories which I find funny, or if I have something to tell you, and it's easier to just slide into someone's DM.
I think this happens with all the best friendships. People are not talking to each other on calls or anymore. People are talking to each other on social media. I think this is a sign of a good friendship. Like, I think I interact with most of my friends on social media only.
Especially, I think Insta. It's just built for that.
Yeah.
So the other thing is you have quite a presence. Like I said, you have quite a presence on both Instagram and Twitter. So is that a conscious decision, or it just came with your job that I need to have a voice of my own as well?
It used to be a conscious decision. I wanted, I was a social media addict. I still am, but right now it is not out of choice. Earlier it was out of choice. I wanted to be a social media addict. I wanted to be on top of every social media that has come in town. and then thankfully it also helped in my job because I knew what people what celebrity was popular on social media, what people are talking about. It also helped with my job. Now the thing is, I am so done with social media. I just want to be on Instagram maybe, or even if that is not there, I'm fine with it. I don't want to be on Twitter, I don't want to be on Facebook. I think I will delete my Facebook account tomorrow given the chance. Like, and I cannot, because it's a requirement of my job that you have to be present on platform, always tracking what is happening on social media. So I can't do this anymore. Yeah, unfortunately. So it used to be out of choice. Now it's not. It is out of my job.
Yeah,
I know one person who had made a fake account only to track, like, this person would go track everything and just not post anything. It was a fake account. Track all the news and just go back to his normal life.
But
so I also like that idea. I'm also considering making a fake account, following celebrities, seeing what they're doing, and just logging out.
you could do that, or you could just invest in a listening device, all those social listening tools that you have, and just track them.
You have to. It's so stupid. I like Instagram though. Instagram. So the thing is, I don't. If you have a good like if as an entertainment journalist, if people put in your name in search bar, like Rajat Tripathi, and if at all your Instagram comes up, it's a good sign.
What does come up when you Google your name?
I think my LinkedIn profile comes up, and very down below, somewhere on the 10th search result is my author profile for my sites. My Instagram does not pop up at all. Sometimes some of my articles pop up. See, this is what happens. You need to have a social media presence, because then you are building SEO credits with that. When people put in your name, so Rajat Tripathi, it is building trade. I don't know. I think so. I might be wrong completely. But yeah, I think when people reach your profile by it, so it's a good thing. It means your fans are able to put a face to it.
Yeah, so a lot of times I think people just do that because your social channels are linked to the articles you're writing, right? And then people will say, who wrote this? I want to know more about this person.
No, it's not linked, but name is there. So I do. I do not know about other people, but I do. If I like an article, I will search for the author.
Yeah.
And if it leads to a blank Facebook profile, I'm like, yeah, I'm like this. I want to see किसने लिखा है ये.
Yeah, I do that too. But like I said, mine was a little different. I started reading articles like, okay, what do you write? How do you write? So I go into that loop as well.
Yeah.
As much as you hate Facebook, I've actually not seen you being active on Facebook at all. But you did a bit very recently on IGTV about wearing your mask properly.
Oh yeah. I made a comedy bit which is one of my most popular videos so far. 500 views us pe pure.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, 500 views is very bad. There should be more views. Like, if at all you like, okay. Given the fan following I have, 500 views were way too good. I have like 3 fan following. 3 लोगों की fan following. Anisha, Anusha, and my mom. 3 people like me in this world.
I'm sure you'll get more people as soon as they can put a face to it.
Okay, yeah. Yes, I did made a nice funny story. And your question is?
My question was that what inspired it? Do you always have topics that are floating around in your head, or do you have to go search for inspiration?
Always. I have some stupid idea floating around in my head. I am known as Ishan Avasthi of my group because people will be talking about, Ishan Avasthi kaun hai?
Are you going to judge me if I say no?
Yes, you should know. Have you seen Tare Zameen Par?
Oh yes, of course.
Issue, yeah, that is Ishan Avasthi.
I forgot his name.
Ishan Avasthi of the group. Like, people will be talking about, my friends will be talking about football or women or whatever, and I'll be just lost in that. And they'll be like, Ishan Avasthi apna alag laga hua hai. So I'm constantly thinking of something and like developing an idea. Sometimes my ideas are so elaborate, so grand that if I like Dharma and Virus will also tell me कि भाई ये नहीं possible है, ये नहीं हो सकता है. I make very very elaborate ideas, so sometimes I have to tone them down. Yes, but yeah, I do keep I don't know. I think thankfully I'm gifted with that. I'm constantly thinking. Plus, I'm unimaginably lazy. So even though I have 20,000 ideas, I will only possibly work on one of them.
And
So that is one.
Yeah. So, and what is the criteria for working on that idea? Is it whatever is easily available, let me do it?
Yeah. So totally, whatever is easily available. That's it.
Okay, but
Or I'll tell you what happens sometimes. Because sometimes when this idea, like a lot of videos, like it gets cooked up so much that you start talking about. Like I started saying this out loud to myself, ki mass pal, this whole mass pal bit. And eventually I said it out loud so many times that I was like, okay, at the end of it, I was like, okay, this is perfect. I already have it. Did I explain it properly or did I not explain it properly?
No, sorry.
Like
I was listening to you, but the four-legged creature wanted some attention.
Okay, so think, like while cooking the idea, I also verbally say it. And somehow it happens so that like उस process में अच्छा cook हो जाता है अपने आप से. So I'm like, oh wow, I already have the concoction, so let's put it out.
Hey, just
so, yeah, please. What is? हाँ, तो coming back to me, तो कभी-कभी जो idea I put out वो ऐसा होता है कि वो मैं इतना सोच लेता हूँ कि वो it takes it like अगर कभी by chance मेरा दिमाग gets stuck in a loop and I think of that idea so much that I eventually like ये तो बन ही गया पूरा, तो I put it out. बहुत कम ऐसा होता है कि आई सिट डाउन कि नहीं मुझे ये आइडिया पुश करना है तो मैं आई विल फिनिश दिस प्रोडक्ट. आई लेट माय ब्रेन go on वो self drive and do its job.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have people who go that what happened, I thought you're going to continue doing this, where are your other bits?
Oh my god, yes.
The so many people like I saw of yours was you were cooking pasta, I think, and it turned out amazingly for people who have not seen that video.
Yeah.
Brings me to another question, that you also use your social media to talk about issues that are bothering society, say social issues as well, about talking about the discrimination that you faced as a man for being dark. To me, that was like, I have heard my friends, I have never personally faced it, even though I am obviously not that fair. I am the average amount of whatever Indian skin tone is, but I do have a friend who has been shamed for being dark-skinned, and her whole thing was it won't matter to people who matter. You were the first guy I found that who has faced this.
Really?
Really?
Okay, I don't know. So I've never faced discrimination is a very strong word, but never faced discrimination. But like it is a thing that gets pointed out to me, that has been pointed out to me quite often. So that I think it depends on person to person. There was one which was I use my social media to raise my voice. So I have one of my friends who is even darker than I am.
Okay.
मैंने joke मारा था, वो joke यहाँ पे edit करना. So, and this guy, this is just good lighting, black shirt against a white background, and a very nice Chinese phone that enhances your brightness by 10 times, which is why I'm looking so bright on the screen. I'm like 10 times darker than this.
Then those phones get banned?
Huh? I don't know. When these phones should get banned when there is already an alternative in the market.
I swear.
Like what people have अच्छी क्या apps का कुछ नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन products should be banned only after there's an alternative in the market. No, but it has literally been called thing that would land you in jail for saying, but this guy gives two hoots. उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. उसे आज तक affect नहीं हुआ. I don't think so. I have not seen him get. I don't know. He has not opened up to me, but I've not, from whatever I know, I don't think he is affected by it. And मुझे तो इतना सुनना भी नहीं पड़ा था, like minor jokes and all, like my mom will tell me कि गोरा होता तो better होता, like कितना अच्छा smart थे गोरा हो जाएगा. तो my mom is the culprit. She has put this in my head.
The thing is, unfortunately, comes from very, very innocent sources, because I am darker than my sister, so people would make comments like, oh my god, your sister's so fair. My mom just did not care about it, neither did my sister, but I don't know why these third party people used to care about my skin tone so much.
मेरा वही प्रॉब्लम है. My mom was like ना कि भाई she will cook up a concoction and like कि ये लगा इससे गोरा हो जाएगा. So it's somewhere I was never in the receiving end of very harsh criticism due to my color or harsh discrimination. Oh wait, I was. So, but not very harsh. But still, these things somewhere made. I don't know why my brain functions the way it functions, but somewhere like it made me feel like I would be better looking if I was fair, if I had a fair complexion, because my mom would call since bachpan my mom was teaching. It is only recently, like 2 years, I guess, I have come to terms with my complexion. Like I don't, like I somewhere in the night I feel like ये cream लगा के सो जाता हूँ. I think it will help. Not complexion, but it will like clarity to the skin and everything, and like it is going away very. I think a couple of years I will completely be totally fine with my complexion. So there was this
Skincare
one
is different.
play. Huh?
Putting a cream and
Skincare.
thinking that "Okay, my skin is going to be so nice and in the morning, that is different
Yeah,
than
but-
skincare. Men should be encouraged to do that.
Yeah,
I
but to
always
some
need
women,
extremes. Some people will say, "Oh, I don't do that. Why would I do that? I'm a guy." And the others one will be so obsessed with everything. Where is the middle ground, bro?
I am the middle ground. I am not obsessed. Like अगर I have to sometimes force myself कि कर ले अपनी skin का ध्यान 40 की उम्र में बेकार दिखेगा फिर. So I have to I end up force myself to do this. There was this one time I lost a lead role in one of my colony ka play and all because they found the fairer guy looked cuter.
Oh, how old were you?
I was in 10th standard. So
That's
it's
so
still
cute. 15.
yeah, like okay, cool, okay. So that is, but it didn't affect me. I don't think it affected me. I think affected me for 1 or 2 weeks, but it didn't affect me much. I just talk about complexion because I think I spent 1 year or 1 or 2 years of my life really being obsessed with my complexion. Really extremely. I don't know what triggered it. Maybe my mom, maybe somebody said something to me in the school. I don't really remember. And I think no person should even spend a single hour even thinking about their complexion. And that is why I speak up about it. And when there are 10,000 ads on television, then there are people who are making videos about how to get fairer. When there are people like this, there would be more Rajat Tripathis who would end up spending more than 2 or 3 years of their precious life obsessing over something that is out of their control. Which is why I talk about like how inconsequential color complexion is.
Yeah, but now we can't, we have to talk about it's supposed to be a historic movement. I grew up, and I'm sure you also grew up with Fair and Lovely, and then they had this counterpart called Fair and Handsome. That is when men started, promoting the fact that I have a problem with the idea that these ads used to promote that you can't be a cricket commentator or you are not good at your job or anything. Because you're not fair.
Yeah,
you become fair and suddenly you're good at it. No!
See, what the thing is, why I hate this is because these things never directly affect you. Nobody is that stupid that कि मैं गोरा हो जाऊंगा तो मुझे job मिल जाएगा. ऐसे नहीं होते. But these things work very subconsciously. Eventually, somewhere your brain starts connecting those wires without you knowing that. Like what happened with me, without me paying attention, my brain started thinking, oh, if I was fair, I would have gotten that. And I think I'm pretty sure I'm an intelligent person, but I'm pretty sure it is happening to other poor souls who have not had the exposure to that makes them more intelligent.
Yeah.
So what about those poor souls? Like, so तो Fair and Glow नाम किया है उसका.
Glow and Lovely, apparently. They have dropped the name Fair and it's Glow and Lovely.
Fair हटाया. It is so performative. Yeah, it's like.
But I like how it was there for so many years, never had a backlash, never had nothing, and finally. I'm 30 right now, and it was been around before I was born, right? Fair and Lovely.
Yeah. People are so fine with it. Yeah. I don't know why people have been so fine with so long. Finally, it will be off markets in some time, like in 10 years, I guess. Our kids won't be. By the time our kids are of age where they have to make cosmetic choices, this product won't be there in the market. I will be one of the crusaders. I had once asked Ayami Gautam that, did you ever take a step to ensure that this. Like, did you ever take a step to bring about a change, since you are there at the epicenter of this market? She says it's a choice. If somebody wants to use a tanning cream, they use a tanning cream. If someone used a fairness cream, somebody used a fairness cream. It is totally a choice. Then I said, okay, this is not a time for I have something else to say, but this is. I don't think that we have enough because the interview. I had run out of my time for the assigned interview, and I said maybe we'll talk about it some other. We will debate about it some other day. No, there's no debate. I have said what I wanted to say. And like मेरा जो मैंने कह दिया वो खत्म हो गया और इस बच्चा की लकीर हो गई उसके बाद मेरा थोड़ा सा गुस्सा आ गया मुझे कि how you just say okay we'll talk about it some other time, don't say कि I have said what I wanted to say. Then I answer back कि don't you think by making this choice when you're starting in this ad you're perpetuating an idea of beauty. She gave some stupid झल्ला सा answer and again वही choice है लोगों की अगर करना है. And my point is it's not if it was free if it was free will, if it was choice, I would have been fine with it. People are making this choice because they have been fed the lie that being fairer is better. That is why they're making this choice. Nobody is making this choice out of free will कि कोई ऐसा pressure नहीं है, societal pressure नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है. If you want to you be fair or you want to be darker, use tan cream. अगर ऐसा होता ideal world, I would have been happy with it. But people are picking fairness creams because there's a pressure. I am very against people making regressive choices for themselves. I do not like that. And then we call it's a choice. No, they picked a regressive choice because of the societal conditioning that is there.
Yes, that is something I have always failed to understand about the society. We are Indians, right? We are not fair. Come on, we are brown. Where are you getting this idea that you're going to be fair? Like every time a child is born and they go that, oh, he's not fair. And then I'm like, look at the dad, look at the mom. Where is the child supposed to be fair from? Please tell me.
हमारी डाइट, हमारे पूर्वज, हमारी जियोलॉजिकल लोकेशन, there is nothing in our favor to make us fair and yet we expect कि बच्चा दूध जैसा पैदा हो. It is impossible यार. Like scientifically impossible है. हमारी डाइट में इतना ज़्यादा वो like our diet makes us more prone to sun tanning, by the way, if you do not know that Indian diet does make you more prone to sun tanning.
I'm okay with it. I love our diet.
Yeah, I love our diet, but so I will share this. I don't know if it's secret or I think I want more people to employ this technique into their life. And we will end this on this note. Whenever you have to do something, but you're feeling too scared, always I do this. I imagine myself sitting in a plane with a parachute, going for skydiving. So skydiving is a very scary experience, but all you have to do when you're feeling scared that take 1 second. You have to show courage for just 1 second. Just jump out of the plane and उसके बाद फिर आपको अपने आप को बचाने के लिए पैराशूट खोलना ही पड़ेगा. So I employ this technique into like if I have to go up to my boss and say कि ये आपने गलत किया, all I have to do is show that 1 second of courage. That's it. That jump out in the sky. And उसके बाद फिर अपने आप को survive करना ही पड़ेगा. तो मैं ये करता हूँ.
That is very good advice. That is actually very good advice. Imagine yourself in the scariest situation and then you're out of it. 1 second.
Imagine yourself I always imagine myself skydiving. कि वो अब ऐसा नहीं कि इतने पैसे दिए आपने स्काई डाइविंग के ऊपर जाने के लिए, ऊपर जाके प्लेन में बोलो कि नहीं डर लग रहा है वापस ले चलो, ऐसा तो नहीं करोगे. आपको कूदना, वो 1 सेकंड का करेज दिखाना ही पड़ेगा आपको to actually enjoy skydiving. And I do that. I show that 1 second of courage.
That's amazing. And on that note, we will end this. Thank you so much for joining me on Chai and Chill. Thank you for giving me so much of your time.
It was lovely speaking with you after a very long time.
Yeah, I'm seeing your
Thank
face.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
Yes, I saw your face after long. Thank you.
Be safe.
Cool. You end the chat. Yes, you be.